And we are live. The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Gaming dads, congrats. You made it through another year. We're
Yay!
fresh. It's a fresh year. Who knows what could happen? It's nothing but upward trajectory. Your kids are going to get older.
Exactly. Yes.
Your
It's
kids
all
are one.
positive.
Your kids are 1 year closer to leaving the house.
So you think you're gonna stay
Yeah,
here
just
forever?
with these retail prices, probably never. But
Yeah.
one could hope. But no, let's not wish away our kids from the house. But welcome back. We're back in the show. We got a brand new year. I was going to say brand new show, but not particularly.
Well, no.
Could be. We'll see how things go. But we want to start off right off the bat with some thank yous. We received some reviews on our podcast, and I think this is something we should have done earlier. We've received a number of reviews across various platforms, and we can't thank you guys enough. Reviewing the show on Spotify, on iTunes, on Stitcher, on any of the podcasting networks really helps boost the signal of the show, and it means
Yep.
the world to us. So we want to give out thank yous, and if in fact if you have something to promote or just call out anything like that, leaving us a review, we want to get you guys onto the show. So this week it comes from good friend of the show, Platinum Dad's Journey. If I can get this up on the screen. So this Dad's Platinum Journey at this Platinum. He said, didn't realize this was a thing on Spotify. Merry Christmas and 5-star rating from me. Thumbs up emoji, smiley face emoji.
I mean, amazing. Thank you.
And huge fan of the show. Should really check out at this Platinum. I don't know that I've ever received a Platinum completion on a game. Never once.
I think I've got 2 total. So I just live vicariously through this dad's platinum journey.
It's amazing what this guy's doing. Like to be going through the number of platinums he got through the year. He's on Twitch. He's streaming everything. He's showing like all of his progress. I think he has YouTube videos that he cuts up as well at this Platinum. Check it out. And big friend of the show. Can't thank you enough for the review. That really means the world to us. In response in that same thread on Twitter, we then had Corey2290 at Corey Robert 2290, and same thing, gave us a review. Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So, any of the gaming dads who are listening, if you could take a moment and review the show on any of the platforms, means the world to us as we try to have a big year for the show. Now, speaking of reviews, I can give a quick review of a beer that I'm having. And it's with great reason that I'm drinking this, which I'll get to in a second. But I'm currently drinking Puppers Golden Lager.
Yeah.
It's just a perfect name.
It is.
Now, this is the official beer of Letterkenny. Great Canadiana show. If you're able to check it out, like way too funny. So drinking this one based on a recommendation. Made with pale and caramel malts, the German pearl hops, Puppers is perfect in balance between malt and hops and sweetness and bitterness. Slightly grainy and yeasty, this dark golden lager is perfectly balanced with slightly drying, sulfur-toned finish. I'd say that's spot on. Now, the interesting reason why I'm drinking this is it was a request from a podcast that I got the honor of being on this year.
Oh, okay.
So that was from the GNA podcast.
Yes.
So G.N.A podcast from the GNA crew. Again, another great podcast to check out. But the transition I'd like to make is I want to give a thank you to the shows we were able to appear on this year. We were able to branch out a little bit and got to meet some excellent people. I don't think there was a show that we didn't have a blast on.
No, it's awesome to also go out and meet other people kind of doing the same thing and get that conversation going and spreading our wings a little bit, Trevor, right? I mean, we'll be together here, but we go off and do, these little other scenarios that helps them, helps us, has that conversation. It's great.
Yeah, so often people get kind of new devices and you want to sign up for some new podcasts for a new year. So let's throw out a couple that we might recommend that we were on. So we're a bit biased, but great shows and great people. So the GNA podcast, great guys, definitely check it out. A Gamer Looks at 40. So Bill, in turning 40, decided to turn the lens around and look at his own life from a gaming perspective. He himself is a father, so it matched perfectly with us. And the show was really well produced, really well cut up. Tons of amazing guests. Like usually he'll splice in like 6 or 7 guests within one show on a topic. Really highly recommend. Excellent show.
I'll be joining him this year too because I will be turning 40. So
there
maybe I'll just go on his show and that'll be it. Right?
Yeah. Jeff looks at 40. But we made a couple appearances and every time it's a blast. So A Gamer Looks at 40. Bill, thanks so much for having us. Definitely worth a listen. Now there was a previous podcast we were able to get onto. That podcast has since relinquished, but 2 of the hosts we were with are starting a new one, and this podcast already has a lot of buzz. And these guys are top-notch talents in podcasting. So this is Gamers Week Podcast, a video game news show. And the 2 friends that we have on that are Blue Williams, that's Writer's View, and Ryan Payne from Retro Game Brews. So highly recommend you go check it out. They're on Twitter, and they're launching this brand new show very shortly in the coming weeks, Gamers Week Podcast.
Yeah, they have a lot of good takes when we were on their show. Fun people to just be around, have that conversation with. Mm-hmm. I suggest you follow all their Twitter accounts because they're hilarious and just what they can pump out and do per day. So it's good.
Yeah, it's one of the I do like the type of news type of angle too, where they're keeping it topical week per week. So we're covering from like gaming dads and life and experience, trying to share it with gaming dads. They are looking at that week's kind of news. So it's always kind of cool to keep up to date with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Projangers and Wall Hangers, we actually had them sneak into the show live a couple weeks back, which was first took us by surprise because we don't get too many live comments on the show while we record it.
Yeah.
We tend to do it kind of quietly, but he zipped us in with a couple, as I recall, top-notch dad puns.
Always welcome on the show.
Every time. So, Projangers and Wall Hangers. So that one, like I said, just can't thank enough. It's an incredible honor to be able to meet such wonderful people, be on the show, spread the love around to all these different podcasts. So highly recommend any of those. Check them out. You would not be remiss for listening to any of them. Yeah. Now, we have arrived at a new year, and Jeff and I thought it would be a good idea to kind of review what worked well as gaming dads. So what were some of the best fits for us and kids as we're rounding up this year and approaching into another?
Yeah.
Would you call it a good gaming year in general, Jeff, for you?
I think it's a good gaming year. I don't think we want to go into any... 2021 seems like this time warp, right? Like I'm sure everyone's kind of feeling it, but it was a good year for gaming. And I think what happened in at least our families, like we had good positive experiences that we like to share. I don't think we need to go into what really didn't work. That's in our backlog. I think, well, let's start on this year. We'll be positive and tell everybody that even like new listeners to the show, what worked and what they can kind of start off on as a foundation. So
excellent. Really well said. So I really am concerned about how much of a Game Pass shill
you might as well be a sponsored right now, right?
Come on. If Xbox would like to sponsor my Game Pass subscription, I would love it. I would happily accept it. I think it's the greatest deal in gaming. I really do. It's the retro feels about having like 50 cartridges around and just slamming one in after the other. But that's fine. That's me just enjoying it. The bigger win really came right at the end of the year as the Xbox console. It was new to me before and is precious. Just like everyone stay away. This is like, I want to get to know this thing. It's expensive. It's hard to come by.
Right.
That, obviously dissipated a bit. And eventually it was, all right, come on, kids. Let's check out a few titles. Let's do a few games. And at first they only played like a couple here and there. I think it was like Plants vs. Zombies, a few other ones. But eventually it's really become the family console.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a couple massive hits that just worked with them so well. So there was Rubber Bandits.
Oh, yes.
For instance, Garden Warfare. They got into Teria. Xbox worked a lot better on this than it did on the Switch, just from like a power perspective. It's totally accurate battle simulator. And the ability to just sample, because you never know. And Jeff and I have covered it a number of times this year. Oh, I bought this like $60 game, $80 game. Cool, my kid doesn't like it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just a nightmare.
So you're just throwing money, but with Game Pass, since you're in it anyways, you are getting the benefit of it, enjoying it, download it, play it, it's going to be great. I'll say it this way too. Like it's not so much Xbox specific. I think PlayStation has something with PlayStation now. I think they're going to really compete on this next year. I think they're going to launch their own version of it.
I think they have to. Yeah. But like you said, it's good to push that industry forward, right? The only one that benefits is just gaming dads. So we don't have to run out and, make that $80 bet on a game that might not work when there's no game demos. So a Game Pass, functions just like that. It's just like your own little Blockbuster video that your kids kind of look at you funny when you mention that name. And they're like, what? You did what?
You went to a physical store and there was boxes?
Ew.
But the boxes didn't have anything in it. They had to go into the back.
Yeah.
Why were the boxes there? So, I don't know. Yeah, so definitely worth it. I think as these services start to come out more, it's behooving upon gaming dads to check it out, because I think it fits really well within a family dynamic of testing stuff out, playing it together, and just having a virtual, your own Blockbuster right inside your own remote console, as Jeff would say.
Yeah.
Now, somewhat unsurprisingly, Jeff, you leaned on Minecraft for one of your wins from the year.
Yeah, Minecraft had a big year in our family. We switched out from Roblox, if anybody's familiar with that. Minecraft kind of took the top podium this year. Both my kids are into it. They played with each other through it. So we had one on the PlayStation 4, one on the PlayStation 5. The Switch was involved at some point. Now it's on a PC. So it's taken over. It's almost like its own virus, and it just kind of spreads to all devices that we have. But I will say I have seen such a positive just gaming experience from them. They've worked together to build things. They've involved it in their schooling. So even through their classrooms, they were allowed to build school projects within Minecraft, which you always kind of read stories about, but they actually did it. And it was cool to see that. They are just connecting with people online now. So even just having that kind of like a platform for them to, with lockdowns and pandemics going on, to connect with others through Minecraft. So Minecraft was a big thing for us. And I myself learned a lot because I missed the boat on Minecraft. And I think you're in the same kind of...
That I am.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where I was learning, they were teaching me. I was not quite getting everything at once, but they, kept explaining things to me. And we all had a good new dad gaming time within this world. So Minecraft was a huge win for us. It is also available on Game Pass. So just to kind of segue that in again.
Yeah, I think any gaming dad, much like you, I played it. I was aware of it and the concepts of it.
Yeah.
I don't think you and I starting this year had any concept of how deep it went.
No idea. No.
The depth of it, and also just how it grabs hold of kids, but in a very positive way. Like the creativity my kids would show, they would drag me into the room and Dad, look at this huge dragon I built. And this thing is 100 feet tall. Yeah. There's lava flowing out of its mouth. And I'm staring at my child. It's that's fantastic. That's so creative what you just built.
Yeah.
And it's very much, I think, Jeff, you could speak to this more. It's kind of like the meeting place now for the kids. This is the schoolyard.
Yeah, absolutely. It's its own, I don't want to say digital Lego, because you can do a lot more with it. There's a lot more interactive elements to it, but everyone meets online in Minecraft now, and they make their own server. My son has his own friends that have their own servers going. So even getting into that space where we're seeing that as, like you said, a schoolyard playground where everyone goes and meets up, they're all, I see less negativity through this than I do out in actual physical form. It's just a great experience that I've seen that my kids go through. It can grab hold of them a lot and they kind of get sucked in a little too far, but really they're doing so much with it. It's just it's not the same thing over and over. So I will totally praise this game. It is what everyone says it is. It is just kind of that creative game that you can do almost anything in. So
yeah, so I'd really suggest any gaming dad who had been on the fence, hasn't really looked into it, wasn't sure if it's a good fit. This is the year to check it out. If your kid's into gaming, you want to be a part of it, and you want to steer them more towards a constructive, creative type of place. Believe the hype. Minecraft is exactly that. It's a lot more than a game. It
Yeah.
really is the way to think about it.
Yeah.
So any gaming
Absolutely.
dad who's not experimented with this with their kids, this is the year to get it done.
Yeah.
Now the one I want to call out was that for us, the Nintendo Switch really delivered on its promise. And by promise, you saw with the silly ads where it's like the person's in one room playing by themselves, but then they pick it up and they jump over to the next one, slide into a TV, like three other
Right.
people show up, they're playing a game. That really drove home for us this year. Like it really worked. And a perfect microcosm of that would be this holiday when we were traveling to see family. So this is upwards of 5 to 6 hour drive.
Wow.
My kids are in the back seat. We had this for parts of it. We had the Switch set up, and they both have their little Joy-Con controllers, and they're just playing away. They're playing their Minecraft. They're playing 3 or 4 other titles that we have on there. We have Boomerang Food, which we'll mention in a little bit.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But so there it is. Switch. It's sitting in our household, big screen. Great. Time to go on a road trip. Pick it up, toss it over to the car. 2 kids like joyously whiling away the hours while being bored in the back seat for an overly long drive for them.
Right.
And I'll speak to this a little bit more too. But even when we arrived at some of the family events, after dinner was done, after visiting's done, the evening's kind of winding down. Parents want to just relax a bit and socialize. Like bam, Switch goes on in the other room. Kids gather around. Everybody knows how to play. They're doing Just Dance. They're doing the Minecraft. They're doing Mario Party. So it's this huge interactive bit.
You're a commercial, man. Like this is just a living commercial. That's what that is.
I really need to get my PlayStation back just so I could be pitching every single console.
You really do, because you could play all fields. Right now you have Microsoft on tap. Nintendo, if you want in, like now's the time. Yeah. Trevor's family's available.
But I would say, and I think you would parrot this sentiment to that if you're looking for the true family console, then the Switch is it. And I think besides the game being Nintendo family friendly, I think there's just the promise of portability is really delivered in how this console acts.
Yeah, it's the portability factor, especially like that rings true for me here. We have a lot of devices in this house, and sometimes brothers just want the same one at the same time, and to not take up a screen and the other one can just kind of grab and go and sit on the couch while watching the other one, that kind of has seen positive kind of reinforcements to the gaming habits as well, because the older brother wants the younger brother there. And I remember doing this with my brother. Like I wanted him in the room. I didn't want him to play. I just wanted him to be there to witness my mastery of this game, right? It was just company. I don't know, somebody to share that experience with. So that's what I'm finding with my older sibling, or my older child and his younger sibling, is that they want to be in the same room together, but it doesn't really happen with like a TV on a wall and one device that they'll fight over. So the Switch provided that as well. They kind of like just gravitated towards one on the Switch, one on PlayStation or PC or something else. So that was kind of cool to see too. So again, another commercial I think we could make and just send it to Nintendo and be fine with it.
Yeah. No, that's man, so well said. The portability of it, perfect bow on it. Now now one such title that you could play on the Switch, which was a huge hit for both of our households, and I'd mentioned it just at the top there, Boomerang Food.
Yes.
So, Jeff, you were the grand discoverer of this game, and you would pass it along.
Yeah, this was just kind of like one of those hidden gems, and it just happened out of circumstance. It was on sale one time on the eShop. It is for anyone that doesn't know, Boomerang Food is just like this. It can be a cooperative or competitive little overtop game with fun fruit going around slinging boomerangs, and it's just kind of like that little Battlefield-like game, right? Like it's a cutesy, fun.
So an isometric view battle royale, either every man for himself or teams. Play until the other team is all vanquished.
Right.
You are delicious food items who explode in amazing fashion, and the only weapon you have is boomerangs. Which act exactly as it should, and then zany power-ups, crazy levels, just fun,
just hilarious fun, and everyone had a great time with it. My family was all like laughing together on this thing. We'd have a couple matches before dinner, right? They'd get washed up, get their dinner, and then go right back to it, because it was just a fun little pick up and play game in between stuff. So, and I think I passed that on to you, and your family had a good time with it. So it was just one of those things that just hit the right spot at the right moment. right? It was not too deep, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't like shallow or by any means. It was just something that was easily drop in and play, customizable, and they had a
Mm-hmm.
ton in there. And they keep delivering content. They had another update that
That's
just at the
true.
tail end of last year. So new characters, new fun, new laughs.
Yeah, easy
Another
to pick up.
commercial, I
Yeah,
swear. Like, let's just.
that's all. This podcast is going full commercial.
That's right.
No, this is about spreading some of the best finds we had this year. So
Yeah.
well appropriate. And I think this one again for a tenner, you're grabbing this game and oozing charm, super
Yeah.
fun,
Just
easy
having
to
fun.
pick up. Just it's a slam dunk. And I was so happy with the recommendation you made and just what an impact it made on the household. So, Boomerang Food, definitely a great one from the year.
Yeah.
We have to talk about what was one of my favorite stories of the year, where Jeff, as a father,
Yeah.
a working father, nearing 40 years old, decided to pick up Dark Souls and Demon Souls and got good.
Yeah.
He got good.
I mean,
Then he got into it. But the better part of the story was how your kids came in with the assist.
yeah. So again, Demon Souls, very difficult game, or at least it can be. And I had my kids like completely cheering me on during it, right? Like they wanted me to get better. They were trying to like give me hints and they would look up specific weapons and areas and locations that I should go to in order to get better at the game and progress. So they were my little research team. They would go off, make their notes when they weren't, when screen time was kind of over. They would, make their jot notes of what we could do next time to get better and go forward. And lo and behold, like it worked. We did the whole game. I completed my first Souls game ever through their help as like a family experience. And it's just like what a game to kind of say that as. Like you're like, yeah, we completed Demon Souls together. Like it was like one of those like, what? You did what? But no, it was like they were my little support team. It was they were very helpful because there's stuff in this game that I would not have a clue as to discover on myself. So they were on the wiki. They were making their notes in their notebooks and bringing their journals to the next play session. So it was a good experience. It was just a funny, I never would have dreamt that. Like, honestly, that was one of the things that kind of surprised me that they worked together to make me win.
To get your yeah.
Dad's got to win.
In every permutation of gaming with your kids and having like a family gaming night, family game experience, like never did it cross my mind of research team.
No.
Like they're gonna go crunch the numbers. They're gonna go online and dredge the forums to find the information, the cheats, like the walkthroughs to help you win.
Yeah.
Like, I would have never pictured like such an amazing surprise and what a great dynamic so that it becomes, and it's kind of a game that, not to, doubt your kids, but it's a bit dexterous. Dexterous?
Yeah.
That's the right word. Anyways, a bit too difficult, like a bit too tactical, like it might be a little bit too much for a kid, but to bring him in on this type of angle, like, man, awesome.
It worked. And like, there's some education in there too. They, had to do the math to figure out what weapon would hit the hardest and when, and what to pair it with. So I honestly, I was very surprised, but that is a huge gaming win for me of 2021. So I encourage others, you never know, right? Just try it out. You never know what kind of part they'll take, as long as you're cool with the obvious violence of it. But like it worked for us. It was fun. Made it less scary for me too. Again, it's like what I said before when I brought in my younger brother to watch me. It's just bringing my kids in and like, hey, you guys want to watch Dad win or die, whatever?
Or,
like, have a laugh at Dad.
Yeah, die try. Oh, I love the cheesing moment you had this year, where you were hiding behind a rock a dragon couldn't get behind.
Oh yeah,
and you're just pinging them off with this little pea shooter.
Yeah,
for like one at a time, sitting there for an hour. Like, how long did it take him to die? Given like how you were cheating against that one boss when you cheesed him?
It was a good 15 minutes probably, because it was just like 1 or 2 hit points off this 2,000 hit point dragon, and I had to make sure I had enough arrows to do it. But my kids were all for it, and we just cheesed the game, and they took that as a legit win. And I said, like, this is part of the game. Like, if you can cheese the game this way, it's a feature. It's not a bug. Don't worry about it.
I'll say, like, So that it'll sound like it's a tangent, but it's going to come back around. But have you ever seen the game Screen Cheat?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So this game, it's entirely based on, if you remember the old couch co-op, like 4-player GoldenEye or any other type of shooter,
Yeah.
where you would cheat by looking at your opponent's screen to figure out where they were, and then you get screamed at like, "Yeah, you're cheating."
Right, yeah.
So Screen Cheat was a game solely built around you can't see anybody. The only way you can figure out where they are is by watching their screens. Specifically
Such a
built.
good idea.
Now, where this comes back around is I could imagine a game where the only way to beat anybody is by cheesing them. There's something really, we talked about this at the time, but there's something particularly joyous about beating someone you're not supposed to,
right,
by cheating/cheesing them. So if the only way you could actually beat a boss in this game is by cheesing them, that's like the entire angle of the game. Cheese lord, cheese master, call it whatever you like.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, because again, it's just like finding that what somebody didn't think of, and you're like, I'm smarter than you. I beat the game. So yeah, no, I'm all for that. That would be a great addition. Let's do it up.
Free game idea for any game devs listening out there. The I guess the last thing I want to talk about, we touched on a little bit from the previous topic, but one of the interesting kind of wins to see with family gathering this week. So I was mentioning about the Switch, and they can pick it up, you can bring it anywhere, and I made sure to bring extra controllers because then it would be around family. So the family gets together, big meal, like all the kids are running around outside, they're having a great time. Adults are overstuffed, adults are overdrank, and it's just time to like, okay, let's relax. But we do have a house full of like 4 to 8-year-olds.
Right. So, no relaxing.
So, well, all you have to do is switch their perspective.
You need the snap. You need the snap.
So Switch goes in the other room. Switch goes onto the main TV. All the kids get like a Joy-Con, Mario Party. Like, bam. Kids are off, like having an amazing little time together. You can kind of hear them squealing and jumping around. Parents in the other room taking a moment of reprieve from all the noise, all the craziness of it. Perfect. Like it was. I don't think that happened when I was a kid, and maybe it did for you, but I don't think there was. I could remember getting kicked out of like the main family room. It's like kids go to the basement, kids go to the toy room. Yep. You just do whatever, GI Joes, whatever. But now it kind of seems like we have this new opportunity where it's okay, kids, like you can all go play Minecraft now, but you just have to. You can't do it here in the main room with the adults. You have to beat it on off to the game room.
Yeah.
So kind of feels like that's our future, our future, and our opportunity to preserve some moments for adults. No.
Yeah, and I'm all for that because I think that completely works. I had a good experience with we were at my wife's cousin's place, and again, like you said, it was the kids are run around doing crazy things. We wanted to just chill and have adult conversations, just like, hey, let's talk about actual problems that
you want to complain about the kids. I understand.
Or complain about the kids, yeah. But they were off in the other room doing Minecraft and Just Dance on the Switch. And it was easy for them to just pick up, get in, and they didn't need adults to go in and set it up for them, or like find them where the controllers are, or charge controllers. Those things are like just built to last. So except for the drifting, which we haven't had yet, but just another good way for the kids to have their own memories and experiences. And I hope to hear about that like in 20 years time when they kind of reflect back and they have those. I think that'll be kind of cool to hear because like you mentioned, I don't think I really had that when I was kicked out of the room. We had to go play with like toys that were like way too young for us and like make a game out of it. And it wasn't that fun. So that would be cool to hear those stories.
Jeez, God, gaming memories from kids. Hey, Dad, do you remember? Like you're having a beer with your son or daughter.
Right.
Hey, Dad, do you remember the old family gatherings where me and all the kids played Minecraft?
Yeah.
Yes, I do, son.
Rocking back and forth. Yes, I was there that day. Yes, we'll bring them on the show. Right? It'll be like extended. They'll be their own new dads at one point.
New grandpa gaming.
New grandpa gaming.
What the show? Sorry, old grandpa. I guess it'd be old grandpa gaming at that point.
Probably,
right?
yeah.
We'll be new grandpas.
Yeah, your new grandpas. Yeah.
New grandpa gaming. All right, something to look forward to.
Yeah, let's do it. All right.
It's a good place to call it a wrap on. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, you can find us on all the popular podcasting networks: Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. As we mentioned at the top of the show, if you want to get your name read out, your project read out, any kind of a shout out, if you can go to any of those platforms and give us a rating and a comment, it boosts the signal of the show so much. We really appreciate it as we try to have a bigger year this year. Last year was just fantastic, and we're really hoping to continue that momentum. Meeting so many amazing gaming dads, seeing so many stories, just want to keep that going and build everything up towards us. So if you can leave us a rating and on any of those platforms, that really helps us out. If you want to get a hold of us, you can find us on Twitter at New Dad Gaming. You can reach us on our website, newdadgaming.com. We'd love to hear your childhood memories. I'd love to hear how your holidays went with gaming and your sons and your daughters, all the other kind of great stories. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Once again, this has been New Dad Gaming. My name is Trevor, and I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and I would like to reiterate thanks again for all the 2021 support, everybody, and looking forward to new listeners in 2022 as we look towards a new year, new dads, new games, new experiences, and everything. But
well said.
Yeah, just remember, just because you became a dad, though,
doesn't mean it's game over.
All right, see you soon.
See you next week.